Hi, my name is Devin Williams. I'm going to be telling you guys about something I did in my senior year of high school. So, my senior year of high school, I take an elective called Survival Science. It was the first time the class was ever offered to anybody. So, the school had never offered Survival Science before. It was my senior year. I had some electives to burn, so I took it. The class revolved around a lot of knots. We made fires, started fires, and built shelters. That's what I'm going to talk about is the building shelters. And there was probably about 20 to 30 people in the class. About 10, I'd say 10 to 15 of them, were these very annoying freshmen and sophomores. They were, loud, boisterous the whole time, unruly, all that stuff. I'm not going to say I wasn't like that when I was a freshman or a sophomore, but I didn't appreciate it when I was a senior. So at one point, we're outside and we're all building shelters. And we split into three groups. We got my group, which is me and the people that sat at my table. There was 4 or 5 of us. And then another group who sat at another table. And there was about, I think, like 5 to 7 of them. And then you had a group of all of these kids. There was one group that was like 10 or 12 kids, maybe even more. And it was all, kind of the little annoying ones. So we all start building our shelters and they're all coming out really nice. I can't lie, theirs is coming out pretty nice. Ours is coming out great. And then that second team, the smaller second team, is coming out great as well. My group and that other group, not the one with the ton of freshman sophomore dudes, but the other group is they finish very quickly. We both finish very quickly. And eventually the teacher's like, all right, you guys finish pretty quickly. And I get the idea. I'm like, why don't we combine ours and make like a huge one and combine all the wood that we found? So we end up combining all the wood that we found and making this gigantic shelter across like 4 trees. It's starting to look great. So we start combining the shelters, and that third group of the dudes, of the freshman, sophomore boys, sees what we're doing. They come over and they start again being loud, being rambunctious, and they tear a part of it down. Now, it wasn't super serious. They didn't just start, throwing it all down immediately. They took like a few stakes off of one unfinished part, and then part of it fell down. So it wasn't a huge deal. And I wasn't taking this class super seriously. It was my senior year. It was an elective. But the people who I worked with were really upset about it. And I was like, dang, that's pretty messed up. And the kids, like, they're laughing, they're making fun of them. And I was mad about it. So later that day, I get an idea. And I text my friend about it. I called him to confirm on the plan. That Sunday, me and him have plans to go out. So before we go out, we drive by the high school. I go in the back, and I wrecked their shelter. I destroyed it. Absolutely trashed it. Right? It's probably one of the more immature things I've done in my entire time in high school. It's the one thing I've done in high school that get me in serious trouble, really. And after that, first of all, after that, we went to Red Robin, and that was fun. But after that, I trashed their shelter. We leave. It was an every other day class. So it was day one, day two. So Monday was day one. So I didn't even get to see, the aftermath until day two. And there was no way anybody was going to tell it was me. But I was so nervous walking into that class because I knew when we go in the woods, I know exactly what we're all about to see. I know what's about to happen. So we get out there, we get to the woods, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh, the shelter's messed up. Who could ever have, who knew? They start speculating that like an animal did it. They start pointing some fingers at a few of the girls that were in my group. Obviously, it wasn't them. No one ever suspected me. I was very quiet in high school, and almost never did anything wrong. This is not something that anybody would have ever pointed at me and thought it's something I do. Like I said, it's about a one very bad thing I've done in high school. So that is one of my favorite stories from high school. I wrecked their shelter and got away with it. They weren't really mad about it. They weren't really upset. They all laughed it off. I don't think they were taking that class that seriously either. But no one ever suspected me. No one ever found out. Honestly, if I had the chance, I think I'd do it again. Because what they did was really annoying, and it really annoyed my classmates. And I couldn't stand for that. So that's my story about what I did in high school. Don't tell anybody else, I guess.